the arts is not a conventional career, and why would you invest in something that is not going to be conventional and that's not going to make you any money? Hey guys, what's up? It's Cam. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the reality of going to art school. Okay, so before we get into this video, if you have not already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below as well as the notification bell right next to it so you never miss another one of my videos. I post every Tuesday and Thursday, and I post natural hair commentary and lifestyle videos. Also, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up because you already know it's gonna be bomb. Why would I make a video that's not bomb? So, just hit the like button. And if you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube, you can follow me on all of my social media. I will have everything linked down below as well as on the screen right here. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so like I said, we're going to be talking about the reality of going to art school because, honey, it's not all sunshine and rainbows like a lot of people would think. It's not just doing art all day like a lot of people would think. Like, yes, in a way it is doing art all day, but it's not. So here's the thing. A lot of people, when you say art school, they have like this preconceived notion that it's like High School Musical or that it's like Victorious. Girl, no. That's like a glamorized, like a fully glamorized version of what art school is. That is what the media wants you to believe art school is. And while yes, there are some parts of that is a reality for people like me who go to an art school. If you guys didn't know, I go to the University of North Carolina School of the Arts and I major in lighting. So that's just a preface. But yes, some of that is what happens at art school, but a lot of the times and a lot of the more not so great things, and I'm not saying they're not great because they're not great, I'm just saying that they're not as great because to an average person, it wouldn't be great. The not so great things, like TV doesn't show that, and it doesn't even mention that that is something that will happen if you're going to art school. So here's the thing. Like I said, I major in lighting, and that is a lot different than being a performer. So I'm not a dancer, I'm not an actress or anything like that. I'm not a musician. I don't perform. My field of study technically is behind the scenes. It's technically technical theater. So yeah, it's lighting. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. So I'm not a performer, so a lot of these television shows and things like that are centered around performers. You never see people like me on those types of shows. And the thing about it is, people like me are very important people in the arts world because we are the people that make those things happen. We're the reason why you can see people on stage. We're the reason why you can hear people on stage, why people are dressed nicely on stage. We're the reason why the show is being put together, like our stage managers and everything. Like, we are the people that technically put a show together, and talent is what the media pushes. That's what everybody else sees. So that's just something that I want to say before getting into this. Now, my first year of school was really stinking hard. Obviously, I'm not going into it thinking that it's going to be like High School Musical or Victorious because I'm not that naive and I'm not that delusional to think that it's going to be like that. I know that it's not going to be like that, but one thing that nobody tells you about art school is just how demanding it is. Obviously, when you're talking about something like art school, you know that it's going to be a lot more concentrated, you know that it's going to be a lot more niche oriented, but nobody tells you really how demanding it is. And sometimes, or at least I can only speak for myself and for what I'm studying, that sucks. Sometimes it just sucks everything out of you until you have nothing left. I've been in positions where I felt like all of my creativity was drained and flushed down the toilet because it's taking so much. It requires you to think beyond what normal people are thinking. It requires a level of creativity that is not I wouldn't say that it's not natural, but that you're not fully aware of all the time, and that you're not thinking about all the time. Sometimes you'll be asked to do an assignment and it'll need to be with, like, you'll have to find some sort of inspiration. But if you're not inspired that day, it doesn't matter, because you still have to pull out that assignment. You still have to pick a subject. You still have to figure out something to do. It doesn't matter whether or not you are lacking creativity or whatever, because the assignment is still going to be due at the end of the day. Nobody talks about also the technical skill that is required to do something like art school, and not even just for technical theater, but even for performers. They have to learn a lot of technical skills to be able to get out on that stage and perform for you guys. So nobody like talks about that, especially for something like what I'm doing, where you have to have a lot of technical skill. You also have to know a lot about what you're doing, and you have to be able to apply what you're doing, and you have to be able to apply what you're doing well in order to be good at your job, in order for people to want to hire you. And I think that's the case for a lot of things. But I think when people think about art school, they just think about arts and paint palettes and dancing and acting and singing and playing instruments, and they don't really realize that it's school. At the end of the day, it is schooling just like any other school. While I have people that I know that are going to university and are studying science and are studying economics and are studying literature and history and all of those things, they're going to school, and that is really taxing for what they're trying to do. But me going to art school does not negate the fact that what I'm doing is hard. I know that I am mostly studying arts related subjects. However, I still do have to take, like, I guess you would call them general education courses. And although they may not be on the same caliber as those courses of other universities that are not arts based, I still have to take them on top of taking all of my arts-based classes. And these classes are teaching the fundamentals. These classes are teaching the technical skill and everything that is required to be successful in the specific career field that you go into. Literally just today, I took the whole day. I had to take the whole day for myself, because the past week has been incredibly draining as far as due dates and assignment deadlines. And me, I'm the assistant lighting designer on a show right now, and then the assistant master electrician on another show that's happening at the same time in the same place. And it was a lot. And I had a few assignments I needed to get done over the weekend that I stayed up really late for a couple nights in a row, making sure that they were getting done so that I could turn them in today. And I turned them in today, and I just crashed after that. And I had to take the whole day to recover from everything that happened last week. And I think one thing that's really interesting is that people assume that just because I am an artist doesn't mean that I'm like not smart. That's not. I know plenty of people at my school alone that chose to go to art school because that is what they want to pursue in life. It's not because they lack intelligence or anything like that. A lot of the people that I know are very smart and are probably a lot smarter than some people who were going to a traditional college or university. But we're just using the knowledge that we have to apply it in a different way, and to like open up the inner creativity and to let that be able to flow. Because at the end of the day, if you were just locking up your creativity all the time and you have no outlet for it, then it goes to waste, especially when you have a lot of it to offer, and when you think that something that you may do creatively is able to impact a lot of people. I think that is something that's really important too. So the pressure of art school. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's enough said. I think there is an expectation when you go to an art school, especially an arts conservatory, which is what I go to. There is an expectation for you to do well, but I just want to say that if you get to an art school or an arts conservatory and realize that it is not for you and that you're not doing well, that is totally fine. That's a-okay. And if you feel like that's just not the choice for you and that you need to leave and pursue other options, that is totally valid. And I fully support you doing that, because I would hate for somebody to get stuck doing something that they don't love, or fall out of love with what they're doing and feel like they're stuck doing it just because there's such an expectation, there's so much pressure surrounding like starting and finishing out what you start, when it doesn't have to be that way. If that's not what you want to do, if you realize that's not really what you want to do, sis, go, or bro, whatever, go do something else and figure out what you really want to do. And if that's just laying on the couch eating chips for a year, your parents might not be happy with it, but if that's what's gonna make you happy, then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You do that and you recharge and you figure out what your passions are so you can explore them in that way. I think there's so much pressure at art school surrounding being successful and being able to produce work at a high caliber all the time when, like I mentioned before, sometimes it's just not possible because you get creatively drained and this piece that you just did may not be as good as the last piece that you just did, and you may feel like you're regressing a lot because that piece wasn't as good, when in reality you just might need to take a step back. You need to take a second to recharge mentally and take a second to, I guess, get your creative juices flowing again so that you're able to produce the work at the level that you want to be producing the work. And I think that not a lot of people realize that, like, we are at art school and we are at art school to learn. And we are not at art school because we know everything coming in. We're here because we want to further our education in the field of whatever art that we're pursuing. I didn't come here because I know everything. I come here because I want to know what I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know, so I just want to learn everything. That's why I'm here. And I think there's a pressure, there's a stigma surrounding being able to just do things the first time and be good at the first time, when a lot of the stuff that we're doing takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of knowledge, it takes a lot of experience to be able to do it well consistently. And at school, it's okay to mess up. I think that all this pressure, it causes so much mental, mental nasty. Can we call it that? I don't think we can call it that. I don't think that's socially acceptable. It causes so much mental fog, and it's really easy to slip into depression or slip into anxiety and just be very nervous and very hard on yourself and overthinking and overanalyzing, and just, it's really easy to do that because you're thinking about all of this pressure that you're putting on yourself, pressure that you feel like your classmates might be putting on you, pressure you feel like your professors might be putting on you, that your parents might be putting on you. It's just all this pressure, because I think there's also a stigma around art school that's saying, okay, the arts is not a conventional career, and why would you invest in something that is not going to be conventional and that's not going to make you any money, when in reality, I can't speak for any other industry other than my own, but in reality, my industry is very lucrative and there are so many possibilities and so many outcomes that you can end up doing based off of what I'm studying right now, that I think if I were to choose something else, I would not be happy. And the main thing is being happy. Although art school is really, really hard, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. My first year of school was really hard. I was taking hand drafting, I was taking a color and design class, I was taking a drawing class, and I also had production every day for 4 hours a day, sometimes 8 hours a day. Sometimes my weekend would be filled with production, where I would have production on Saturday and Sunday for 12 hours a day a piece. It's not easy. It's really hard, and I don't think anybody really ever talks about how hard it is. Everybody just says, oh, it's the arts, it must just be lollygagging around, sunshine and rainbows, flowers, and the sky is bright and blue. Like, it's not always like that. Like, you can have 5 assignments due at the end of the week and each of them are gonna take 24 hours a piece to complete, and it's like there's not even enough time in the day to do all of that, but somehow you get it done, and the satisfaction that you get out of getting it done, on top of everything that you learn, not only about yourself, but about how you work and function as an artist, and it builds you up so that next time, not only will you finish that faster, but you're gonna be 10 times better of an artist. I think that's really, it's a really interesting phenomenon. It's like this whole full circle thing that just, I don't know, I think that's for another video, but I think that at art school, it's really important to just focus on your art and focus on yourself. And it's really hard to do those things at the same time, but I think it's really important because you wanna make sure you're creating everything. Like, you wanna make sure that you're creating the best art that you can create for yourself, but you also wanna make sure that you're paying attention to yourself and making sure that you're not slipping into a depression, or make sure that you're okay mentally and you're taking time time for self-care so that you don't fall into a hole that you cannot crawl out of, because trust me, I've been there and it's really hard and no one ever talks about it. So I'm gonna talk about it because this is real life. This is real life, and that's all I can say about it. I don't know. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all that I want to say in this video. It's a pretty quick video. I just wanted to, you know, get the little message out there for those who are wondering what it's actually like going to an art school. That's pretty much what it's actually like. Very long, hard days. It's hard work. It's a lot of assignments. On top of having to get like general knowledge, you have to really dive deep into what your art is in order to come out being the best artist that you can be. And it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of hard work, and there's so many pressures to do well. And I think it's the same with any other college or university, except the fact that it is artistic, it's arts based. So it's a different niche, but I think it's the same principles. And I think that that's one stigma that I really kind of want to try to bust that surrounds art school. Like, it's just as hard as any other school, if not harder. I would argue that going to art school is harder than going to regular college and university and studying English or whatever. And that's just my opinion because I've been through it, and I only have my experience, but from what I can tell, going to art school is not a joke. It's nothing to play with, and it's only for a certain type of person. And if you're not that type of person, then that is totally okay, and you can go do whatever makes your heart happy. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you feel like the message will speak to someone, share it. And comment down below any other things you want to hear me talk about on my channel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell right next to it so you never miss another one of my videos. I post every Tuesday and Thursday, and I post natural hair commentary and lifestyle videos. And if you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube, you can follow me on all of my social media. I will have everything linked down below as well as on the screen right here. And that is it for this video. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.